but they are set up with their 5v5 as the spike goes down.
Yeah, one of the few teams that is still going to be running a Sage pretty much anywhere, but especially in pistol rounds, it's definitely going to be more of an irritation. Now, EDG have held on to a lot of utility as they now look to set back into this retake.
Yeah, a lot of stuff still to work with. That nade already going out to clear an angle. It's allowed them to focus towards the site. But Munyet does well to still grab one. The Paranoia a little deep. EDG already bypassed it, now catching multiple kills on nobody. It's left all down to Devi, emerging from the smoke. He's only good for one. That pistol round win goes to EDG.
Yeah, I respect it. The fact that they've sort of given up the site almost completely and just happy to play off that utility. It was something mentioned on the desk and something mentioned in their own interviews. Is before they had that raw firepower. They came in as a team that, okay, yeah, Konkan, he might be able to just frag out the server. Smoggy's going to pull off a ridiculous clutch, but they're not going to have those setups to get their way back in like this. And already a pretty clean start for them.
Yeah, a very clean start. Even from the get-go, they're playing retake on the site. They're letting PRX take the space, and then they're able to fight back through because they've kept their utility. They played the game the right way this time around. For EDG, they get the reward. We can see that they're stacked up. In fact, one pistol is all they're going to be carrying through to keep it light. The rest of the squad investing very heavily, and PRX have decided to pull through a lot of sheriffs, but for the most part, they haven't got a lot to brawl with. Open fights should favor their opponents unless the numbers advantage come through. And we are seeing the exact same strat from them, same run through. This time, we're not going to get a Sage wall down to block off, so it could be even easier for EDG to fight their way back through.
Also, EDG have even more utility because obviously they're the team with the buy, so they now have still that paranoia, multiple flashes. Like, they're going to have to make a pretty severe mistake. And again, there's that initial sort of setup from Chichu just to get them the information. The only real danger is just aggression, but it's so messy! And Munyet doesn't manage to get anything. And well, they have managed to at least find themselves a kill, but they need to get so much from this position, even dying to a blast back. And Devi, his late lurk may not be expected, but he needs to buy such a ridiculous amount of time, and it isn't going to be happening.
No, not quite close enough, although the spike does quicken its pace in ticking towards the end. It's still 2-0 for EDG. As we said, they only had the one pistol on Kankan, which does mean that there's going to be some small dent to their economy, but ultimately nothing that you really need to fret about. On the PRX side, I'm curious to see where they come out of this one with, because they're going to have all the money to work with, all the credits, full utility. This is their way back in.
Yeah, this is where expectations become a little bit different. Now, one good thing is that nobody has done an incredible job already to get that Hunter's Fury online, so potential for some proactive takes. Already they are setting up for a little bit of aggression in towards B main. You can see the knife's been thrown through, but that's all just a bait. This is an attempt to try and hold rotations in onto that B site, and that is exactly what it's done.
Yeah, again, though, from EDG's perspective, this is very similar to what they've been doing, just fully stacking up towards one part of the map, gambling that if they take A, they'll play the retake. Obviously, they've got some very well-drilled retakes lined up for us, and I think here's where we're going to get to see, you know, this is nasty for Munyet. I was expecting to see something from EDG, but they might not have much of a chance. If they expect this one, I will be flabbergasted. A free kill for sure, maybe even a second now. They know his tricks. It's time to fade down.
Oh, they're going to have to look for that every single round. In the meantime, though, the rest of the team has started to get a bit more aggressive. Devi up close already doubles up their advantage, not allowing this retake to even really begin. Leaving just a couple remaining, and while the potential of flawless might be gone, but it is damn clean from the side of PRX.
Yeah, that's a round that they're going to be extremely happy with. On the EDG side now, something for them to worry about as they're playing retake A, wanting to rotate quickly down that avenue, and now they've got to be worried about a player being up top. In fact, even as we go into this replay, this same position that Munyet's in is being pinged like crazy by the side of EDG. They're telling each other, this is where he is. He's going to be there. Watch out on the rotates. So everyone knows they pulled the trick out of their sleeve. I don't think they'll get away with that again.
I'm really surprised they do it in the bonus round.
Yes, right, of all rounds.
You kind of think that maybe that's something you say for a bite, but it is just that almost ridiculous confidence of PRX, and let's be real. if that's the only cool thing we see from PRX in this map, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'm surprised, shocked, and disappointed, just like yourself. For EDG, on this defensive side, bit of a change-up. This time, not wanting to play the retake on A. They got a bit aggressive, haven't seen anyone, and in fact, Thrash is coming in on the exact other side of the map. As we can see, oh, I like this idea to try and punish. Actually caught one tag onto something, but that's all they're going to get for it. With the res in, they might want to get aggressive, but Munyet being up close, he couldn't decide on his weapon. He'll only get the one, but at least he got the one.
Yeah, they've still kept it even at least. It's not the worst scenario. It looked like it could have gone a lot worse than already. Mindfreak has been able to find another. Kankan looking to try and wrap back in, but the timing couldn't be any worse. And now Smoggy is all that remains. 1 versus 2. I don't even think he has the ability to really clear out this player on the corner, just trying to check, but this Sage wall just being irritating, and that's enough for him to have to back out of the round.
Yeah, at an eye test, you know, you probably can't jump that, but I don't blame him for trying. Maybe he could get the element of surprise if physics was going his way. Unlucky for PRX. They found themselves around, and you know, on EDG, burning up the Hunter's Fury, they commit quite a bit. Their economy's quite low as well. This is not an ideal start, as it looks like PRX might be able to get away with a little lead now.
Yeah, and something just to mention, obviously we have seen both these teams play it already. A very close game for the side of EDG, so I'm not overly surprised that we've seen this pick actually come out from PRX. And also, the one time they played it in Pacific against Gen G, they had a 10-2 defense. So that's something you have to be wary of, is they have already shown that they're going to be problematic with aggressive takes. I think something's utility is, you're really going to have to watch out for that, because I feel like Gecko thrives when it comes to this map in particular. And for now, at least, okay, a couple of hero weapons. Smoggy still having that rifle. Guardian invested into for Kankan as well. But how much can they really do in this round?
Well, PRX have decided against even showing their presence towards this A site. I think knowing, like, in most of these fights you're taking, you have a heavy advantage in terms of weaponry. And the one thing EDG can do is group up. So they don't throw the flash early, they sneak up on A, they play it slow. But EDG have rotated in. Just look at that mini-map. 4 players very close by, Kankan on the way, and they've made the right read. The info denial as well. They know there's 1 player towards spawn on the side of PRX. That's not enough to really make a move. Devi is disgusting. He's making a lot of dangerous plays, but in this round, that might not have been the right call.
No, if they can get the rifle back especially, that would be an extra pain that they have to deal with. Also, every player being revealed, no hidden lurks can really be happening. Paranoia is good, but nobody's actually able to capitalize off their counter flashes just a little bit too late, and they are being picked apart. Just a couple remaining. Mindfreak has been able to bring back the deficit a little bit. Another, as he's just popping head after head, but it gets a little bit shaky, leaves it onto something in the 1 versus 1, and they'll be able to hold on in that 2 versus 4. It was a little bit too close for comfort.
Just a little bit. I mean, he definitely had time. Just 1 sheriff shot away from disaster. As I said, coming out of last round, you think that PRX have everything set up to claim a decent injection of rounds, find that one, be in an economically advantageous position, which, don't get me wrong, you still have a player like something with 7K. But my God, it's the reason I had this guy's jersey at home. Should have brought it.
Yeah, that was clean. And taking out the showstopper as well, I feel like that would have been something dead for sure if he doesn't even just get it a split second earlier. So a round saved for PRX, but probably not something that...
Wow. The best part is he was already on the wrong side of the trap, didn't go deep enough. Devi, good for 1, that's it though, shut down, and this round has crumbled pretty quickly if you're PRX. I mean, they might have shut down a showstopper in the last round, but, well, it looks like Kankan will be dropped again. Something tagged, low HP on Mindfreak, and they know where both of these players are. EDG have all the info to play with. It seems to be a formality at this point, unless something has an incredible 3K up his sleeve.
Yeah, that was one of the most audacious changes in pace I think I've seen in a long time, because think about how PRX have been playing so far. It's been slow defaults, normally ending up on the A site. This round, he just tries to TP into mid. And the thing is, EDG have been playing a lot around that mid area for the fast rotations for retakes. So it's interesting that he thought there was a gap there. I'm not sure what piece of information they had that they believed that that was going to be clear enough for him to take such a risk, but it hasn't worked out. Something still ever dangerous, even when not playing on that jet. See if he can make this one at least a little bit costly. He's looking for the fight. He knows that planting at this stage, allowing them to retake together, won't quite work out. And while Smoggy is patient, as he hunts down something in the end.
Yeah, again, the right call to try and thin the herd a little bit, but this is a head-scratcher of a play. I mean, the sound cue is there. The kill is easy to claim. With the smoke close, I guess the idea is, even just thinking to the round before, if I'm not mistaken, we had 3A, 2B. That was a gap in the previous round. It wasn't this time, so an unlucky gamble. As we end up 3-3, quick check-in with the economy sees that we've got enough money for everybody to buy. Utility's going to be pretty healthy, and something has got an operator.
Hey, man, he's stealing this one out of the book of Concon, the Gecko Op. That was something we saw back on Bind not too long ago. For now, though, back to the slower style, default, maybe expecting a little bit of aggression. Especially with how easily they've got into the post plant, I really don't mind the operator. Just allow him to sit on an angle and try and shut things down and Mind Freak again. He's had a decent amount of success in some of these early fights. For now, though, EDG doing well just to try and slow the pace a little bit using their smokes. And again, you can see it's basically a retake setup over on that A site again, just with a little bit of extra info off the trip.
Yeah, the fake, or the attempt to sell a fake on the B site is decent, especially when you've got a Viper's Pit online. They can't afford to give this ground up and play behind the wall. And as they play in front of the util on A, the price is paid. Smoggy down. And a null command used for PRX as they claim control of this site, presumably unchecked. Remember, also a Viper's Pit for post plant, and this op is still lurking around. There's a lot of red flags flying for EDG.
He might find the space, though. They don't even realize he's here because he was already past the angle initially. Chichu at least finds a slight gap. Already, though, Thrash thrown out will give an awful lot of information. They're going to spot at least one player in that back line, and look at Devi. Slowly on the wraparound, he was following it, but the shots might have just given his position away. The operator going to hold the gap in a wall. You'd expect something to hit this shot all day long, and he won't miss. 3 kills already to his name. Little bro going to be sent out just to try and claim some extra space, but for now, still a lot that EDG need to do, and not a lot of time to play with. Kankan, the last man standing, and he will meet the same fate as the rest.
Well, I expected something to do, well, something on the op,
nice,
but I wasn't really seeing that coming.
Write that one down.
Yeah, actually, I'm trademarking that one. But EDG calling a pause after that, and then you can understand why. This is just one man finding all the space in the world, despite some decent plays for them to try and break their way back through. I think the harassment from Devi played a big role as well. The fact that he follows up on the Thrash, takes the angle, fires a few shots, and he just runs away. Just lets them know, I'm behind you, by the way. And now they've got to worry about that. It slows them down. It gives time for the op to position. And the shots are there every time.
So you can't see at the moment because there's a timeout, but I'm looking at Kankan with a glass cannon operator. Now, it would be a little bit of a bold call to try and have that through into this round to try and do something on the defense, but I'd love to see him go toe-to-toe with something, because we are talking about 2 of the best operator players in the world. I think Kankan has been someone that has consistently been mentioned with this gun. Unfortunately for them, finances are not amazing. They would have to take a risk. That's the thing. It's whether they want to try and bridge the gap off him being who he is.
See, this is the thing, though. This round just might not be the one for it. Just because you don't have any teammates that have a rifle. They don't have anything to back you up. So unless it's even a gamble on the defense, because you're going to sit on B with that op. If they go A, like they have, what are you going to do? I don't mind it, because if you lose it, the cost is just too high to pay. Instead,
you won't, because it's Kankan.
Well, that's the theory, right? But he's 5 and 7. So he's got a Guardian. He's got a Stinger, a Guardian. He's not sure yet, and he's sticking on the Guardian. Okay, so a decent rifle to fight with, some range potential, and nothing but Sheriffs to back him up. It's not a round I expect EDG to win in, but it is one that carries a lot of danger on the side of PRX, because we've seen before how strong EDG were on a retake with weaker weapons.
Again, they've switched up. There's been so much presence on that A side that they gambled in that direction, and PRX, they've had solid reads so far. One defender, Chichu, he has been the point of contact in almost every single round, but an afterplant, even a Viper's Pit expended here. You mentioned that some of these rounds got close. Well, PRX don't want to allow that to happen again.
Yeah, with Devi finding a kill, popping a heal on his teammate as well, everyone's sitting pretty, and there's still some util to play with. Going through that Viper's Pit, being on low HP with the Sheriff is the only thing worse than having to take that fight out in the open when there's this many rifles on the other side. They're trying to play the RNG, but the wall is helping, blocking, absorbing some of those shots, even though there's a gap in it that EDG are now going to use as they make their way through. There's a TP out of Aldong, and a third kill! A real chance for EDG to fight back in this round. It's something left. Low HP on Smoggy with the decay. And it's an op to work with for something. Now the heals come through. That op needs to land its shot. The time already running. Can something even save the rifle at this point? He's got to run fast, and looks like he'll just about be caught.
Yeah, they've got rid of him. That's so much damage done by EDG, and honestly, I don't know how Dong managed to do as much as he did, pushing into a Viper's Pit, finding a gap, and getting 3 kills off the back of it. Again, that's another low buy round for EDG. Okay, well that one, yeah, fair enough.
And then he paranoias into a shrouded step like that. 2 very quick shots when you're, essentially nearsighted. Not bad at all.
Yeah. The thing is, though, it's whether or not they're able to now capitalize on it. Because they have done that a couple of times where they've made things a little bit more costly. Either way, though, again, it's going into this slow push towards the B site. A death ball coming out from the side of PRX. They have managed to sort of play with their opponents. Bear in mind, they've only seen Mindfreak. Now they'll have the information and can finally start getting that rotation in. Kankan is going to be nowhere near the action, and Littleborough is going to be making sure that plant is in. I don't think they're going to be able to deny. Oh, no, they have. Okay, that's something that will at least buy a bit of time.
Yeah, no operator to play with for PRX after losing it last round. EDG on the retake. Kankan's going to be a big factor for them. If they can open up some of these sight lines, have to get past the Viper wall, the util down from Omen, and they're actually passing it on the PRX side, running it down, taking fight after fight with nothing but success. And we talked about this operator. Well, it's now all that's left of EDG's defensive side. This retake will not happen, and he might not get out of here. Just about making it around into spawn, but they're hot on his heels. He wants to take some shots, but none of them are landing. 5 HP and a classic to close it out. Unlucky for Kankan. He has that up, he's on the wrong side, and by the time he gets to the right side, there's no one left to help him.
Yeah, they've done really well with just these early round pushes. Like, note that this is different to what we've seen from PRX already. A lot of their eco rounds have gone towards the B side, but more importantly, they've sent Mindfreak there pretty much every single round. So, logically, when EDG see him taking that first fight, they go, well, this is the lurk again. This is the guy on the other side of the map. We're not going to pull any rotations. And then the full execute comes in. And by that point, you have just too much control available for PRX. They are doing a great job in these sort of mid-round calls, switching things up each time. And thus far, EDG haven't really been able to catch the smoke of PRX.
Well, Mindfreak denied what would have been a terrible thrifty for the PRX side if EDG found it. Oh dear. Nobody's not getting out of here. Not a chance. You had something on the op, win around with a 4K, and close out a round in that 1v1. PRX have had a couple swing rounds go their way by a narrow margin. This one, though, it's been widened up a bit. Mindfreak on the flank. Beautiful play and good connection from Munyet. Weaker weapons for EDG, and now barely any of them left standing. One of the main ones being Haodong, who it looks like Mindfreak has some spidey senses tingling because he knew he was on his way back through.
They picked them apart again. This time the low buy not looking likely, and
you want more?
Smoggy again. Just trying to catch Smoke. He doesn't even realize where his opponent's gone. Just trying to catch them, and will finally meet his opponent of Mindfreak. It took it long enough to get there. It won't matter. 7-3. PRX after the first couple of rounds have been nigh on dominant. And for a team that, as I said, we watched them kind of get battered when it came to the game versus Gen G. They've come into this, I think this morning, saying, we're at a 6 out of 10. I'm sure EDG don't feel that way.
Yeah, and even if we can argue that EDG have had some closer rounds, some opportunities to pull it off, it doesn't matter. When you're facing down the barrel of a 7-3 scoreline, it's time to show up here and now. Now, a big round for EDG, not just in their buy, in their credits, but also in their ult orbs. They've got a lot online to work with. This has to be their safety net.
Well, this time, nobody is going to be battling once more for that B control. You can see an immediate rotation from EDG. Just being able to get that little bit of control is enough for them to try and just pull rotations. The retakes over the last few rounds just haven't been working. They need to try and get some of those early fights in, and they'll win one. Khan's removed Mindfreak. He has been the biggest thorn in their side thus far.
I like this position from Smoggy. Good shots last round. The nade is down, but they're a little disjointed. The 1v1 taken against Haodong doesn't go well. For EDG, no smokes left to play with. No from the shadows.
Oh, he's
and Mindfreak's right back into the fight. The shot doesn't land either. And Can sprays and finds bullets coming back at him from Mindfreak, who was dropped moments earlier. This is a disaster for EDG. They're losing players, but nobody. He doesn't want to lose this round. Holding strong in the flank from Smoggy's good. It's only Munyet left. He's made it to A. He'll find a plant, but he doesn't know where these last two players are.
One enemy.
Forsaken, unfortunately, won't be able to join him. Low HP. And a Hunter's Fury, they're watching to see if he's going to go pushing round the back, but instead, these angles slowly being cleared. Looking to try and pair back up as he just sits patiently waiting in the corner. Not quite looking the right direction if a wraparound comes in, but actually, both players meeting back up. The time starting to tick down. They really need to get a move on. Paranoia through, TP'd now to get into a much stronger after plant. Munyet, though, getting tagged further and further. They need to get someone on this, and he's just buying that time ever further. I think this one's going to be desperately close. In fact, I don't think he might have this at all. I think it's going to go off. It's going to be the clutch again, and they just can't find themselves around.
Less than a second in it, Tom.
Yeah.
Like we say, no matter how tight that margin is, PRX steam further into the lead, and with a Red Bull clutch from a player who was low, who missed the first couple swings. He couldn't land the headshot, and it looked like they had it, but in the end,
it's not even that close.
Time that cost them. 1 second, like 0.93 of a second.
But that's the thing, they were very, very slow at clearing a lot of the angles, and I love the reposition from Munyet. He realizes in that corner, decent chance to get overwhelmed, someone can get on the defuse. Instead, he just looks to take those fights, and well, nobody again. This time, Mindfreak is waiting. These battles have not been going their way, and something roaming with that operator. Ready to clear, and while the Paranoia will catch him, but no chance for a trade.
It's not even an ability that gets him out of there. It's literally just the straight up, take your knife out and run. Now, Can's gone through mid. There is a lurk waiting around here, but it's waiting for the B main aggression, not for the mid push. They weren't expecting this. The timing a little off, and the shots didn't land initially, but Munyet's recovered it nicely. Mindfreak down, big player for the side of PRX. He's been going huge in a lot of these rounds. Now, they have to close it out without him, but it's a 4v2. It's only Chicho and Haodong. Should be easy.
Still in the same spot he paranoid from just moments ago. The initial fight needed to be cleaner. Completely left out on his own. He's had a couple of amazing moments so far, but this would have to be the best of them. Of Munyet, no respect, straight through. Leaves it all onto one, and it is dominant. A 9-3 half for PRX coming in onto Sunset. Doesn't get much better than that.
No, it really doesn't. I like the idea as well to knife close. They suspect he's there, swing it with a shorty, and even grab the headshot kill for their trouble. PRX just looking so clean. This is just a matter of timing. The Paranoia doesn't come out. I think the idea was to play off the contact, but they just didn't expect it to be an op. Like a rifle will take an extra half second to get that kill, and it's easy peasy. You're going to at least trade. This time, EDG, they have to trade out a lot of rounds in their favor. 9-3 down at the half, and Tom, we don't expect this to be much better. Let's see what the desk thinks.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I've pulled the telestrator here for one of the rounds in particular, which is round number 3, the bonus round. And this one was particularly interesting as well. Just the overall game plan going a bit amiss here. With this PRX comp, what you want to do is you want to bleed the utility out as much as possible. And they were just given the A site entirely for free most of the time. I mean, PRX not being forced to use many of their util tools, like a Paranoia flashes, really at all. And part of the benefit of the Gecko is that you can pick up the flashes as well. Once you use them, you can pick up forms of the util. But it was going amiss here for EDG. And when you give up this much space, it's one of the worst worst things you can do because you set up PRX to do things like this. I mean, they get quirky with the walls. They set up the Sage wall up here onto this high ground angle, and they're really making sure that their game plan is to try and fight for this area as well of the map. These link areas, as well as backside control, making sure they're getting really proactive in those moments, and it just completely dismantled EDG. I'll speed it up as well, as you can see. It takes out the players here. They're flash re-clearing, making sure they set Devi up into the deep positions, and it's the major strength of this comp. I mean, being able to fight and really take space proactively. And for EDG, you were seeing it go missing. I mean, what they should have been doing is fighting, I think, for extremity control, trying to at least get it, rather than giving up the sites entirely for the retake, because you can't do that against this comp. If you give PRX the space to set up, they're going to use that util to push you even deeper when you're trying to set up for your retakes. We're going to go to the other side of the map now, and PRX might be even better on their defense side. They are so damn well drilled with their executes and their retake protocols with all of that utility. EDG cannot make the same mistake again, and so I'll send it over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Bren. Yes, an interesting look at how this has been going so far for PRX. Tom, what I was going to say before we tossed it off is that you were mentioning this defense for PRX. It's not exactly a weakness that EDG can hope to lean on, is it?
No, well, we've seen them play it once within the regular season, and they absolutely battered Gen G, who obviously ended up winning the series. So not a great sign, but now they can look to set up Kankan, a player that we already know can ruin any story set up by the PRX side. It's not happened yet, but we know that they can have that rise back up. And even just getting themselves, I feel like, back in the seat a little bit, ready for bind, because even though EDG is strong on that map, I'd never want to play PRX on bind.
It's a scary battlefield to take on this squad, and for EDG, a slow approach, much different than what we saw from PRX, who leaned heavily on finding open space on the A site, which they did so often. This time PRX are leaving A open, looking more so to fight into middle, and that's exactly where they're going to find that scrap already. Good stuff as the heal comes through. That initial fight almost negated if Forsaken hadn't fallen, and if Haodong didn't find the kill on something. Now the numbers are thin slightly, and for EDG, they can take advantage of this. Same sized map, but less players to defend it.
I'd still feel worried pushing into Mindfreak. He's definitely been the player to watch so far, but with the push coming in from Devi, there's a good chance they're boxed in. Now, there is a trip, but that means that he can just keep the rest of his teammates sat within this site. Still a paranoia available as well for Munyet. That could cause real issues.
It slowed them down, but they found Mindfreak. And they know that Munyet's around here. They've got to deal with him. They want to get this fight planted, and Munyet with a beautiful shot, and now a crossfire angle. Devi easily closes that out. His flank saving the round. And PRX sealing the coffin of EDG. If anything, that pistol win puts them on double digits.
I am starting to think that there should be more maps where PRX play double controller, because obviously we've seen Munyet sort of take over the role of Jing going into the Raze for the majority of the maps he plays, but he just looks so clinical, so comfortable when he goes back over to this Omen. And well, let's be real, I think Mindfreak's Viper's all right. I think he's doing okay.
He's always been a decent controller, you know, at the best of times.
I'll make you excited.
Oh, wall up right away. Interesting angle for Forsaken, and he's already got one. No reload, he wants another. Oh, I love to see the Outlaw thrive, and Forsaken looking beautiful doing it. This is the perfect round. They don't have shields. It's an easy kill if you're rocking into a no-shield fight, and obviously Haodong had no chance, blinded up in the corner and taken down.
Yeah, they had a paranoia come through the wall just to make sure that there wasn't really any opportunity for the player on the other side to survive. That's now 8 rounds in a row for PRX. And well, there needs to be the same just to get them back in the game. That's how desperate a position we find EDG in at this point. They are going to have the buy. Investment available, but I'm actually, to be honest, looking at the weapons on the other side for PRX actually scares me more than a normal round. Because you've got a Judge, you've got an Outlaw, you've got an SMG. That means they're probably going to do something spicy.
I'm curious to see how much damage Forsaken will be able to output. This is the thing. A tag from him makes any of these other weapons deadly. But he's playing a much more passive role in this round. Util dispensed on A, and the rotate around towards top mid. It'll be a much slower round, but he will look to maintain that control over middle of fight. In fact, onto Chichu seems inevitable as Mindfreak is caught in this corner. There was no way out for him. Good kill by Kankan.
Yeah, that's a big fight to have, because it also gives them a lot of space over onto the site. Outlaw in position, and the slow somewhat deterring. the players on the attack. They're going to start falling back, but Devi has now retaken that space, and we'll just wall it off, even if it's just a little piece of information. That's something that can be brought through. They are now going to start building up, though. The thought on EDG's side is, okay, well, if they've walled this, it probably means there's no one here, and they can get over the top of it.
That's what I was wondering. Like, it seems like that left side's jumpable, but they still hear the sound cue with how close they were. Now, Forsaken hasn't quite managed to get the damage done on the Outlaw, and the flank through by Chichu's being watched. He's beautifully positioned, but the jumping judge wasn't quite anticipated. Even still, that's the only kill for PRX so far, and it may well be the only one they find. Both players on 45 HP. Nice and uniform, but it's about... I was going to say it's about to become one player. Never mind. Devi perfectly dodged that, but not the second time.
Yeah, and on the other side, something has just decided to go for the save, so a good clean start as well. And I do like the fact that even though EDG are down, they're definitely not playing like it. They're taking their time, making sure they clear everything properly, trying to play with the rotations of PRX, and really giving themselves the best possible chance to start what will be a mountain comeback if they manage to do it. For something, it's whether or not he really wants to go for anything here. Financially, the team could afford it. He's already going to take the head off of Smoggy and just look to try and fall back. Send out Wingman to try and just deter them a little bit from pushing. And hey, made things at least a little bit more costly.
Yeah, Menti didn't have to go running in towards mid either and risk there being a player there. His back was secure. I think this is very nice by Chichu. Again, the fact that you have a jumping judge coming around and he's kind of low, it's unlucky, to say the least of it. But for EDG, we need some big rounds to fall into place right now. 11-4. If PRX win this one, it's more or less bind that we're going to be thinking about. For EDG, this attack side has seen some elements of the PRX aggression. This time, we might get a little bit more. Straight up mid pushing 4 players around this part of the map. A is left wide open. And they don't get contact, so they fall back. But it allows them to be ready on beam much, much quicker than EDG should be ready for.
There are so many players ready and waiting. They've been able to take out at least a little bit of that utility. But I think the hesitation is right from EDG. They're just going to stop. I think they saw so much utility flying through on the other side, but it just hasn't hit the same this game. Something... Given an opportunity to take that fight, and with your duelist, your entry, your space taker down, it's not going to get any easier. Now, the A site is open for business, but I feel like someone almost needs to be left behind to try and catch someone on the rotation, because if you allow PRX to retake, I don't like those odds, and well, nobody is at least going to be able to find one before trying to back away.
Oh, no! Oh, wow! So this is a big change, because, you know, PRX obviously happy to play retake on A from the start of the round in a 5v5. In a 5v4 without Concon, even better. But now the numbers have changed hands a little bit. The advantage no longer sits towards PRX, and there's 2 players on the B site still with a lurk from nobody, active in mid. This has to be huge for Devi, and he won't get anything. These last 2 players even splitting up. Oh, this could be dangerous. They don't check the close right corner, which, I mean, you wouldn't really think to check this late on in the game. Well, the punishment is dished out firmly. Nobody. Massive round. He's had some big rounds like this before, but we can't rely on that every single time, Tom. 11-5.
Oh, that was huge from him. Just taking some of that space back into mid, being able to fight the player in market, and then win a duel of, I think it was 2 players peeking him from top mid. That really shouldn't have gone their way. And he's pulled out a hero play that has given them at least a little bit of an opportunity. Alex is going to take a moment to try and talk things through with the team, because that's the thing. Even EDG just getting themselves a little bit pumped up. We have seen this team pull off miracles in the VCT before. So they want to stop this before it gets any legs whatsoever.
Yeah, it's definitely time to pump those brakes, take a second look at how these coming rounds are going to go, because remember, the first one, it's not looking great for PRX in terms of credits, but they're going to have ults online soon. Even in this round, that kill from Devi gets your res from the shadows. They have a Thrash coming in, so they better make sure that Arsenal isn't disbanded for no reason. They got to be using it, presumably, in the following round, round number 18.
It does. I'm looking to see how much they actually invest into this round, because at least right now, I'm looking at something having an operator. And again, he is someone who could definitely pull off miracles. He was fantastic with it even on the attack.
There's no way. There's just no way. Like, if you wanted to throw, there's just no way. I mean, he has a Thrash for next round. Maybe he buys it now, runs a weaker weapon, and then just decides to use Thrash next round. He'll be back contact. He's gonna do it. He's crazy. On defensive side as well, it's a risk. Maybe he can save it if things go wrong, but really the hope here, the gamble, is that he's able to find some serious value. And as we can see, well, EDG were backing off. And it looks like they won't be coming near beam. Oh, never mind. The danger zone has been entered by Chichu. He's going to go for a pick.
He's pushed so far up, but both have gone down immediately.
Oh, that's it.
That was the thing. Either you had to get value with the operator or save it. This is the worst of both worlds, as he has gone down with the operator. They know exactly where the players are rotating to as well. It's whether or not, yeah, I was about to say, I think EDG have been so calm in just going for these rotations, claiming space elsewhere. And Kankan now already going to be stopping any chance of rotation. He's even going to shut the door on them. Now, what that might mean is, unless it's been thrown away, they might actually be able to save the operator.
It's actually a very nice recovery, I suppose. They carry this weapon through to the next round, and I have nothing negative to say about it. It is just the risk that they run of it being dropped, of one of them picking it up, or of that weapon going down. And if EDG decided to take B, then you're not getting it back. It's gone. But Bulldog and an op carried through to the next round. This is the idea. Like I said, Devi needed one kill. He didn't get it, but he's dead now. So he's got a res to work with. Monyet might not have the From the Shadows, but I doubt that's going to ruin their plans. So realistically, they have a lot to work with.
You never know, maybe he'll get a kill with the operator. I don't think he's in the right place at the right time.
No, he's a little far away. If there was a Neon, I'd give him a chance. But no one's getting to his neck of the woods anytime soon. Mind Freak, oh, you're in danger.
They put the Paranoia through, but I don't think anybody's really pushing too far on it. Mind Freak will already get one. It's how much more can he make? It's costly!
Oh!
Mind Freak is just hitting every single shot. And okay, he loses the gun, but even the extra credits will put him in a spot where he can buy a rifle for the next round anyway. So
they're just throwing. They're throwing, because why wouldn't they just go for it? When you've got Mind Freak on your team, 2v5, just go for it. Just go for it. Look at this guy. It's unbelievable. Get that one in a replay. Oh, yes. Oh, I like that. Oh, he even blocked the nade. Our observers are fantastic. Thank you guys so much for showing us that. That's so cool.
Just body block it.
Yeah, just block it, duh. Come on. Take the kills.
11-6. The thing is, though, the economy doesn't really matter so much for EDG. They've built up a lot of extra cash. Howdong even with 8,000 credits post-buy. And if they lose 2 rounds, they're done anyway. So ultimately, it was worth trying to remove that extra weaponry, something worth the operator. As you said, the ults have come online. You have to think that sooner rather than later, PRX are going to eventually get this one over the line. But for EDG, they are now starting to build into this. Still with a showstopper. Hunter's Fury for this round. And again, just this slow, tempered approach to trying to gradually take space. They're not really giving any information over onto the PRX side. And while something, one of the players who could find it is just sat with his operator in hand.
Single-handedly maintaining the control of the A site, where they've been so happy to play retake before. Something's got it on lockdown, but EDG are not looking to take any risks towards that side of the map. Instead, it's the B site that they're currently targeting. Now, there's some utility being expanded to run that clock down 40 seconds, as we're going to see, oh, even a deep flash thrown through. They're really trying to stop this squad. I guess send them back to A, or at least make it so that they have to blitz in, and with the showstopper, that's not really a problem for them. Risky. Okay, it's ended up fired at a corpse, and a nade. Oh, Con doesn't stand a chance. Now Devi can do some serious work. A res online. We mentioned that earlier. They'll try to retake the body on the side of EDG, pushing forward and taking every single kill. And with something only now making it to the B site, now it's time to save. It's time to save, Tom, isn't it?
It is something. I don't think he's going to go for this, but you never really know. He's just looking to escape back out of there. Now, it's interesting because, again, you see the knife coming through from Forsaken. That's why they start just blitzing their utility, and they knew that they were coming in that direction, but the showstopper taking the space, and then just solid trade work from EDG. It also seems like every time we've had an operator for the defensive side, it has not been in the right place. Both teams have managed to avoid the superstar operator player for the other side, and now I'm just looking at Howdong. He might be about to clear this gun for free, but he's got spidey senses. I don't know why he turned around, but it doesn't matter. Howdong's going to get the kill anyway. Another round building credits for EDG and a 4-round streak on this attack side. This is starting to look possible.
Yeah, you know, a large part of why I started to lose hope is just the promise of PRX on the defensive side, but well, the paper dinosaurs ain't doing too well. EDG are looking fantastic, and momentum's definitely on their side. Sure, the ult economy is swinging towards PaperX for now, and that is kind of all they need, right? Just a couple trickle-down rounds, and they're good to go on map number 2. But from what started out as a very dominant feeling map, a couple of close rounds for EDG that could have swung it a little bit more in their favor, but it just seemed like we were going to leave this with the idea that, oh, EDG need to wake up for map 2. It looks like they've woken up for half 2 at least.
Yeah.
This is a good sign.
Oh, it's a great sign as well, with different players like Howdong, Nobody, all starting to step up to the plate. And this round, we do have investment again from PaperX. It's not everything they've got. They will still have a buy for the next round, but they've got a few Bulldogs to play with. The ult's still available, and the drone, again, I think EDG are doing a fantastic job of either using Kankan or Nobody to just sell a ruse. They start throwing utility, be it a boom bot, be it a drone, and just get them to stick around in that position. Even catching him with the knife, okay, maybe that wasn't intentional. But you can look at the other side of the map. The only player there is going to be Monya, and they're going to get the information finally that they are not around this position anymore. But they haven't cleared Nobody, and he has been a nuisance in the past.
He's in such a good spot, but that smoke's faded at just the wrong time. If it stuck around a little longer, maybe he could sneak his way through. The snake in the grass has been found for PaperX. As we said, a lot to work with. One is a res in terms of ultimates. Viper's Pit online. If Mindfreak finds 1 kill, this could get very dangerous for EDG. Flashes, a lot of them come in Chichu's way, but the players take a minute. Howdong's on the corner with him. They're doing well. EDG are holding their ground. And it's only Munyet left to try to pull this back, swinging into Smoggy. Was that one hell of a round? 11-8. EDG 3 rounds behind on a map that not long ago was looking lost.
Yeah, they lost the pistol, but we thought this was over. 11-3 down, and again, PaperX are going to have to take their second pause. And you're right, like you see the flashes come through. I think there might have been a couple of players blinded either by their own util or by a counter flash on the other side. I think it came out from Smoggy, just buying enough time. And then just having that firing squad. Nobody coming in from a different direction. And, wow, they've managed to hold the line versus what was still a decent investment coming through. And a couple of ultimates used up for PaperX. It's not like they now have that 5-stack anymore to just try and get them to OT. They do still have a few to play with, though.
Yeah, and I guess the Viper's Pit mainly for Mindfreak, having this online coming into the next round where they're still going to have a decent economy, they're going to have full util to work with. They've seen often that they're able to get some space back towards the site, albeit on A here, there was a serious shutdown from EDG. And it's even more impressive when you consider the fact that you have a Gecko Flash go up and over, catch so many players. You also had a KO Flash come around the corner, catch a couple of players, and the timing just wasn't quite there for them to retake around that corner. I think for PaperX, that's something that we'll see remedied, but they need to find the solution very quickly, because this was a game that we were already thinking about buying. Once that 14th round fell into PaperX's hands, and since then they've had absolutely nothing. Just 2 needed to close this out. 2 buy rounds as well. EDG ain't going to be playing an eco anytime soon. That's for sure.
No, they have saved up plenty of cash. Viper's Pit immediately onto the B site. Now, as said, it's been a great job from EDG with the push and pull. They've been selling fakes with different players in different rounds, leaving different lurks, making things awkward for the side of PaperX to read. But with shutting down B main, unless they're going to go through the Viper's Pit and try and fight Mindfreak, they have to try a different avenue. Now, it does look like there's potential that they're going to try and push mid a little bit more, knowing that there can't be as much of a heavy investment in this round, and the door being closed actually somewhat gives them that space. You can see Forsaken has already repositioned to try and watch towards the smoke, but instead, again, they're just slowly taking control across the map.
I do like EDG's approach. I like Devise as well. The wall is great for control, but he's got an angle up above it. Howdong didn't even realize he was shot at just there. The silencer, I guess, really working for him. It doesn't look like there'll be any punish. Did see the players move up towards mid, though, so the rotate's already underway for Devi, and Forsaken is locking it down. Double flash through, Paranoia's good, and Munyet's able to follow up now, positioned a little closer as Devi gets there. He's not even needed. Chichu, the last man alive, and he's got a 1 versus 5 straight into the op. First time something's really had that success with the up defensive side.
And
they finally found the round.
it's almost the kill that mattered the least.
Yeah,
like
5v1. I got him, guys. The op was worth it.
Again, though, I feel like that's another scenario where PRX have done well to go, okay, we'll set something up to have space initially. We've got the Viper's Pit on the other side. We have faith in Mindfreak. Where else can they go? Mid. And that's where they have that 1-2 punch of Forsaken and Munya, the double flashes, as you mentioned at the time, just basically making it so that it created some awkward, disjointed fights. Can't come way out in front of everybody else. And PRX do well to just trade things in the end. Leaving EDG now after what was a 5-round streak, some real hope of them turning this map around. They need another 4 in a row to take this to overtime. And for them, they're going to give the coach another opportunity to try and switch things up, try and almost give them just that little bit of extra confidence. Because that's the thing, I think this has been the first round where they haven't been able to do their sort of like A main, B main fakes because Viper's Pit shut it down. Now that's not going to be there anymore for PRX, so they still have a very good opportunity to turn this back.
Well, 4 opportunities for PRX. 4 very stressful rounds ahead for EDG. This is where things get a little bit more real. You know, we talk a lot about those comebacks and how difficult it can be in general. If you lose a map 13-4, you know, it can suck. You feel like you were shut out. But you can go into the next map and say, guys, we didn't even play that, you know?
Yeah.
No one was awake. It's fine. We got the next one. When you make that comeback, when you spend all this time fighting your way back in, and then the door's closed on your face just as you get there, it really, really sucks. But hey, EDG have been there before as well. They know how to battle back from those mental positions. That won't be a real challenge now. Slow through and a deep orb. This is PRX telling EDG, we're going to fight for this control over B main this round.
Yeah, I think it was an adaptation that was needed. Just allowing them to have a lot of this control to late execute has definitely been causing issues. And something, I think he's just jump peeking deep A. Like, his positioning has been able to give them a lot of control, but they are going to look to try and force him back. The drone again being utilized just to try and clear this position. Something just has no fear, though. He's ready for someone to try and take that risk, but it has pulled a player further forward. The problem, though, is that this B main stack-up is still here.
Yeah, the second player's not expected. Of course, it's Mindfreak. Although the poisons might be off, he's still got his rifle ready to fight. And Concon with another death on the board. He's struggled in this series, but Mindfreak most certainly has it. And with Forsaken dropping nobody, it's looking like this might be map 2 already on the minds of EDG. Chichu with another clutch that he won't win, and Mindfreak on the triple. That is the first map for PRX, and a very promising start to this series. Forsaken said they were a 6 out of 10. Well, they had some shaky rounds, but they're looking more like a 7 now, at least.
Yeah, they've got their first map on the board in a matchup that I think many believe to be competitive. Worried about the form that this team was coming in on. It's safe to say in the first half, there were no worries at all. Utterly dominant, and it just took a little bit of time to get it over the line. I'm excited for the next map, though. Either way, Mitch, we're going to be heading off to the break, and we'll be back with map number 2 afterwards.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin.